Yes, family, lodge up yourself, pick up yourself. This your host, Sila Shalom, chiming in on the ones and twos. You know how we do. It's the vibes. It's a blood clot vibes. It's the blood clot vibes, yes, family. The host, Sila Shalom, chiming in on a Saturday, on this jury day, the overcast, the heavens have fallen. No, the angels walk the earth, right? It's the vibes. My big head split still, you know. Yes, family. What's gosh, on the one. You know how we do. You know how we do. Everybody have them vibes till I should have them vibes, yeah? Get that sweet Caribbean feel when you come over here. It's the Yankee. Up north, down south flavor at the same time. You get the best of both. That's the big word there. Yeah, I roll up my big split. Oh, who we got in the building? I see people chiming in. Elijah, I see you. Charles, I see you. Keith, I see you. Set up front. Eat my house. Your global purpose in the building. Exile, Gentile, I see you. Angelica, I see you. Family chiming in. She-Boo, the swift messenger in the building. Peace to the righteous gods and goddesses. Arabian goddesses. It's the vibes. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, let me get on, yo. I'm feeling pretty good. You know what I mean? We're on a big head split. There's a lot of vibes in the air right now. There's a lot of peace and contention in the air right now. There's a lot of peace talk. There's a lot of war talk in the air right now. What really is what? But really go out and go down in the Babylon. It's some blood clot vibes. Question of God, that's what I named this. Question of God, because I realized, like, I'm dealing with these biblical believers, these Quranic believers, Kemetic believers. I noticed that a lot of these people who believe in these doctrines don't question the God. And I know, because I was one of them at one time. You know what I mean? You ain't question God, you just believe that shit. It's only until you attain wisdom and understanding, patience, and certain things come with age, that you have all the right to question the gods. And the reason I say gods, because man worship more than one God. The Muslims don't worship the same God the Jews worship, although they claim to worship the one God, right? So they might worship many gods, dig? Brazil, peace to the God. I see you, King. Peace to the righteous God. Yo, Brazil, that spot, plant, vegan express or whatever, yo, that shit stay open late, my nigga. I was coming down Memorial like 11:30, nigga. That shit was open. I was about to swing the block and go grab something. I was like, all right, at least I know I got a late night spot that stay open on some vegan shit. If a nigga want to get some vegan food before midnight, you dig? Salute to the God Brazil. I still ain't get a chance to listen to that damn song. You know what? I gotta chime in. I want to make sure to do that today. After I get off live, kid. I've been going harder with the filming. You know what I mean? We just took the photo shoots for season 8, 2.0. Your boy's gonna be suited up this season. You know, we do. Tony Greathouse in the building. Peace to the God, Tony. Peace to the righteous gods. Yeah, I see you. Nina, I see you. Bronze Yogi in the building. Yo, Bronze. My dude right there. Hey, I got the Cubase 12 on the laptop. I got it on my desktop with the studio app. But I said, let me try to download on the laptop. So I downloaded on the laptop. So yeah, man, you know, fuck around and put that Cubase. I mean, that Reason's on here too, and it's on the pop. You already know. No doubt, King. Hey, yo, Bron, Jackie, you got that Adobe? You can get that Adobe? I already got it, but I was looking to get it for somebody else. We'll talk though. Yes, family. So the question is, you know what I mean? You got to question the gods. Like I said, man, for the longest, we just be believing things without questioning it. Like for example, even in the Bible, with the creation story, the 7-day creation story, we never questioned it. We just believed the shit. Even if you had questions to yourself about it that you wouldn't raise to no other but yourself, because you ain't want to get beat up for raising a question. But yeah, the 7-day creation story. A lot of people ain't never questioned that shit. It's only till, you know, you get a little older and you get more free-spirited that you begin to question these things. Because for the longest, niggas was like, yeah, you know, man created God on the 6th. God created man on the 6th day. That's what niggas was rolling with. You know what I'm saying? Like, God created man on the 6th day. We believe that shit. But just because you believe it, does that make it correct? That's the question. That's the question at hand. Just because you believe it, does it make it true? It's a blood clot vibes. Alright. Big smoke, big vibe. Lodge up yourself. You're done, no king. Yes, I. Big Rastaman vibe. That's how the hydrant move. When you come to the lion, when you come to the jungle and see the lion, yeah, man, ferocious the lion. Look up on them. Burning a split. Like, well, what parts you are dealing with? We are doing part these parts. Yeah, man, respect the lion. Big facts. Daryl Cosman in the building. Peace to the righteous faithers. Peace to the righteous faithers. Peace to the contentious faithers who got a problem with what we're doing, but it's all good. The torch gonna keep moving. You know what I mean? We all can be hypocritical. That's the beauty about being a honest and real person to yourself. Nigga, I admit my mistakes or my habits or my wrongdoings. You see what I'm saying? I want y'all to see that. I could come edit this motherfucker up and have that shit sounding like boom. Oh man, this nigga just flew through that shit perfect. But nah, it's time to see the flaws. You know what I mean? Time to see the flaws. When you planting the seed, you're gonna see the flaws through the growth. Ain't no plant coming into the world perfected. Every tree you see had to go through imperfection before it got to that perfection. Some limbs even broke, could have destroyed the tree, still maintaining growth. You dig? It's just the vibes. Cosman in the building. Peace to the righteous God. Right. Did you say, Daryl? Be realistic and true to your individuality. That's right. That's why we got to question the gods. Because if we don't question the gods, we're not being true to our own individuality. We're only being true to the individuality that we believe. And if you believe your God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, your individuality, your freedom, your liberty has been drawn down and subjected to that ideology. And now you can't think about creation now because you've been taught creation has been subjected to 6 days, 6,000 years. Like you got some of these Hebrew Israelites when Naphtali was on Sinetta. And the girl said she believed the earth is 6,000 to 12,000 years old. They believe this. They believe this because God told them to believe that. That's why we got to question the gods. That's the beautiful thing about the OWASP. They don't tell you to believe shit. Question all things. You've been taught in your Bible to question all things. You've been taught in your Bible to test the spirit. But when you come and get tested, you niggas complain. It's a problem. The OWASP is of the colonizer because we're testing the spirit of your Bible with another Bible and you niggas can't take the heat. You can't take the pressure. Pressure bust pipes. And a lot of these niggas' pipes be getting busted lately. Because I ain't seen nobody say, you know what, I'm ready to challenge the Owaspy. Since I've been on side of the TV, I ain't seen nobody come up and say, I'm ready to challenge the Owaspy. They're not ready to test the spirit of their God, because their God is going to be exposed as being false, because that's what we bringing. We exposing the false gods. That's our premise, nigga. That's what we stand on. That's our specialty. The Hebrew Israelite specialty is letting niggas know in the Bible that we are the children of Israel. That's their specialty. That's all of our specialties, nigga. I can go in this Bible all day and show you that we the children of Israel. It's all through the book. We can prove that. But now what we proving to you is that we have a higher light that's showing us that these gods who we thought was the Most High Creator are not them. Not only are they not them, but they've taught us to believe in them. So now it's a grip and a clutch on the spirit of man, because you've been taught that the God of the Bible is the God of Israel when he's not. That's a hard pill to swallow. Because if he's not the God of Israel, not who is he? But where do we find the truth now? If you're telling me that the biblical God is not who he is, where do we find the truth? What can we believe in this book if the biblical God is true? Even the biblical God can take precepts from true God, creator, and pervert it, convert it, alter it to fit the false God's liking. Although the essence of the law is coming from the creator, but they altered it. For example, I'll give you an example. True God will say, ye shall not worship no God, lords and saviors, but worship Jehovah only. That's what the creator would say. And that's what true God, rightful ruler would say. Or any angel in service to the creator will say that, right? A false God would say, ye shall worship no other gods, lords and saviors, but me. See that? See the difference? The first one put the emphasis that you shall worship no Lord gods and saviors, but worship Jehovah only. So the angel is putting the emphasis on Jehovah, creator. He's separating himself from who he is for the creator. Don't worship me. Don't worship no lords, no gods, no saviors, no Elohims, Adunas, none of those. No Yahshuas. Don't worship none of these people. Worship creator only. That's what true God is saying. That's what all the angels in service to the creator are saying. But then you have the angels that are in service to self saying, ye shall worship no gods, lords, and saviors, but worship me, the Lord thy God only. See that? That's how they goddamn conflict the goddamn laws. That's why you can't distinguish the creator in your Bible, because everywhere in the Bible, the Lord God is confessing to be the one. And he's not confessing creator. It's not like he's saying, I am the Lord thy God, I'm the creator in the Bible. He's not saying that. In the Bible, the Lord God is like, nigga, I'm that nigga, bow down to me. That's what the Lord God in the Bible is saying. And you've been bamboozled to believe for the last 2,000, 4,000 years that this biblical God is the Most High Creator. And then less than 200 years ago, a book came revealing the truth of the matter, that all gods, all lords are no more than one-time human beings, ascended after death, risen to a place in immortality, like the book say, or basically a heavenly plateau, and start to progress. And you take on the titles of gods, lords, under the auspice of being an angel. So this is easy work for us, but it's hard work for you all who believe the Bible, because you cannot distinguish creator from the gods. You believe that the God is the creator, when in the Bible it's telling you that ye shall worship no other gods. But then in another breath, God stands in a congregation of the mighty. He's in a congregation now. This is the Most High God in the congregation among other gods, but he's the chief one. But at the same time, there are no other gods beside me. In the beginning, let us make man. It's plurality there. He's letting you know that I'm more than one person in the Genesis account. But this is what we've been taught to believe. We've been taught to believe that God is omnipresent. We've been taught to believe that God is one. But in the Bible, God is started off as two people. God in the Bible, in Genesis, is two people. Because he said, let us. Us is two, and as numerous it can get. Endless. So from two to an endless number could be us. Just for the record. Just for the record. So when God said, let us, there go the red flag right there. And there's many more red flags even before the let us. You know what I mean? The first red flag is in the beginning, God. God, the word God, that's the first red flag. We already exposed that numerous times, but we're showing you that This is what you believe. This is what you've been believing for the last 2,000 years. This is what you've been believing since what's that? Who pressed the Gutenberg pressed up the Bible in the 1400s, the first pressing company, whatever. You've been believing this shit since then. I was believing in it. There's still some gems in here. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt. The Ten Commandments is official. But look how the false God switched the Ten Commandments from that which essentially came from the Creator to now got you believing that these 10 Commandments is coming from the Lord thy God, a one-time human being. That's like me coming with the 10 Commandments. And I'm telling you niggas, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder. Don't take what's another's. But I'm letting it seem like I'm the creator of the commandment, not knowing that the commandment came from the source through the angel to give to the rest of the people. But I'm making it seem like I created this shit. See that? That's what the Owaspy opened our eyes to about angels, false gods, assuming to be the creator, and they give us stories and outlines and descriptive methods and strategies and deceptive plans that these fallen angels do. And then when you read it, you're like, well, goddamn, and it coincides with the history of the earth. So it's not like you just reading the angelical story in a spaced out time and you can't relate it to the time and where we at. No. Niggas know who read the Owaspy, that this shit is chaptered out in goddamn arc cycles of 3,000 years, so we can trace the history. So we talk about the gods and the angels, we're not talking about a far long time of 1,000,000 years ago, nigga. We're talking within the time span of man and the historical time period that coincide with man. That's what we're dealing with. You dig? That's right. What you say, Daryl? You brought that out. We've been bringing this out. Exodus, the Lord is a man of war. He's a man. He's a blood clot man. He's a deity. A man is a deity. See that? A man is a deity and a deity is a man. God is a deity and a deity is a God. See that? Daryl on fire in the chat. What you saying, King? Holy Bible, Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Exactly. And then in the Hebrew, keep in mind, the Lord is Yahweh. So it's saying that Yahuwah is a man and Yahuwah is his name. So they blasphemed the creator. They sinned against the creator by using the creator's name in blasphemy, by associating the creator Yahuwah with man. They deify Yahuwah into man. Because when you look at the Hebrew definition of Yahuwah, as we've been displaying, it's not associated with man. Do we need to show that? Well, goddamn it, let's show it. Let's show how Yahuwah, the definition of Yahuwah is not associated with man, but they associated man with Yahuwah, making him an idol, a deity. Fucking up creators playing this shit. Oh my God, I bet. So now when we go to Genesis 2:4, because like I said, that's the first time. Genesis chapter 2, verse 4 is the very first time that the word Lord is used in the Bible. You may want to jot that down. Genesis chapter 2, verse 4 is the very first time that the word Lord right here is used in the Bible. Prior to Genesis chapter 2, verse 4, everything proceeding back up is God, God, God. Everything is God. Elohim, actually. So now this is the first time. So now the Lord, which is associated with Yahuwah, is associated with God now. We already exposed that God is a deity. Now let's just do it real quick, just for the record. You know what? Let me just do it for the record. So like right here, we got God, right? So let me highlight this verse. So this is Genesis chapter 2, verse 4. And right here, we have the word Lord and God associated with each other. But then in Genesis 1, we have in the beginning God. Now, wouldn't it make sense? It would have said in the beginning, the Lord God created the heavens and the earth. I wouldn't even be arguing this point to this degree, because in the beginning, it would have said in the beginning, Yahuwah, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. but it doesn't reveal the name of the God, but just the God. But the revelation in the name of the God came in Genesis chapter 2, verse 4, where Lord is associated with God. So now let's define God once again, and let's see what God is associated with. Let's see if God is associated with anything that is visible, idols. So for the millionth time, God is associated with angels, and we know that angels are people, they're men. God is associated with angels. So this is the word God, Elohim. And keep in mind, Elohim is plural. That's why it says angels with the S at the end. And again, it says angels and God. All these got S's at the ends, showing its plurality. So we're proving that God or Elohim are angels in this instance of the root word. So let's go down to another root word, Allah. Allah now is associated with what? Deity, as you see here. Deity. Deity is associated with, as we know, idols. These are deities. So it's nothing new. And then it's crazy when we look up deity in the Strong's Concordance. It brings us to some Hindu gods. It don't even give you no Canaanite gods. It give you Hindu gods. So again, God, Allah is associated with deity. Now this is Allah for the Muslims. This is Allah. Allah. This is Allah. This is the same Allah for the Qurans. And their God is a deity also. And then we go to the root word El. We see that El is associated with what? What is El associated with? Idol. All these other things as well, but they have idol in the definition. So again, God's Elohim is associated with angels, deities, and idols. Now, when we go to the definition of Yahweh, which is the Lord, so we clear on who God is. He's a deity, and he's an angel, deity, and an idol. But look what happens when we click on Yahuwah. Now, proper noun with reference to a deity. So they're trying to deify Yahuwah, but we're not going to go for this. We're going to go to the root word. We're going to see who Yahuwah is associated with in the root word, the primary root word. So when we get to the primary root word, which is Hawa, this is the primary root word for the Lord, Hawa. And look what it states. To be, become, come to pass, exist, happen, fall out. None of this is associated with angel, idol, or deities. None of this. There is not one thing in the definition of Hawa that is associated with an angel, with the idol, or a deity. So what I'm saying to you is the essence of the creator is Hawa, Yahuwah. See that? But they associated Yahuwah with Elohim. So they deified the creator. And I'm showing you how they did it right here in the text by associating Lord with God. If this shit would have just said, in the days that the Lord made heaven and earth and left out God, it would have been all right. Because creator would have been displaying to become into existence, which would have been the creation story of Genesis. But now that you put Lord and God associated, you deified the creator. Now you made Yahuwah into what? An angel, a deity, and an idol. This is why we got to question the gods. We just can't be believing shit. So this is the first time the Lord is referenced, and you can see it's associated with to become. It has no association with idol. When we define God, God is associated with the image. He's a man. He's an angel. He's a man of war, and the Lord is his name. So that's how they deified God or the creator. They deified the creator, and they fucked up everything. For the last 2,000 years, you've been thinking God is a man. You think the creator is a man. Ask any Hebrew Israelite, ask any Christian, how do God look? They may be slick and be like, oh no, you can't see God. But I said, according to the Bible, how do God look? You got this description. He's a man of war. And that's not being symbolic. That's being literal. Because there's literal verses in the Bible where it describes when Moses seen God face to face, when Moses seen the back of God, because it said he couldn't see his face because no man can live and see by face, but then he see God face to face in a couple of verses down right from that. You dig? Peace to the gods. What'd you say, Daryl? That's right. Acts 7:38. Moses was with our ancestors, the assembly of God's people in the wilderness, with the angel spoke to him at Mount Sinai. See that? The God that you think is the creator is an angel. We clear on this. There is no confusion for us who study the Owaski about God being an angel. We clear on that. It's just you who think that this angel is the Most High, the one who created the heavens and the earth. That's where y'all stuck at. We clear on that. And that's right and exact. That verse right here that he posted, this is right and exact. This is telling you the truth. Acts 7:38 is telling you the truth. That God is an angel. And it's right here in your book. Because God was the only angel that spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. There was no other God there. This was not the burning bush. The burning bush came to Moses in Egypt. We in Mount Sinai. We long away from Egypt. There was only one person who came to Moses in Mount Sinai, and that was God, the angel, as Daryl Cosmon displays. Yeah, man, they can't run from this, man. What'd you say, sis? That was one of those verses I always questioned. Yeah, that's real talk, man. See, we got to question the gods. Got to question it. Soon as that red flag raised in your head, that shit gonna happen. Gonna be like, boom. Whether you restrain it back and try to suppress that thought, it's gonna shoot out there. Like, yo, no, that shit is false. You know that shit a lie. And you're gonna suppress it like, nah, nigga, that ain't what it is. Get out my head, Satan. The truth is coming to you when you tell him, get away from me, Satan. And that motherfucking little voice just told you the truth. But being that you don't question the gods, you denied that voice that was telling you the truth. And you said, get away from me, Satan, thinking that was Satan, not knowing Satanism within the belief that you believe in, that these gods are the Most High, the creator, these Anunnakis, if you want to believe the Anunnaki, if you want to believe in Enlil, if you want to believe in Enki, if you want to believe in Ninkarsag, I don't believe in none of those people. Because to me, they're part of the trilogy of the false accounts. Because when Osiris gave the account of the false creation story, he gave it to Egypt and he gave it to Mesopotamia. That was his region. Osiris' region was from Egypt, Canaan, Mesopotamia. That's why in the book of Osiris it says Assyrians. The Assyrians is connected to the Osirians, the Osirian philosophy. The 7-day creation story, you get that shit out of the Babylonian account. Them false gods put a number on the minds of people 4,000, 6,000 years now. It's been that long. And people been in bondage to these false gods for that long. And Uhasaj, cold-blooded character. Cold-blooded character. You know what I mean? Cold-blooded character. And then you had Osiris, cunning. Cunning. That's why Egypt is standing the way it stands, because Osiris was cunning. He said, I'm not going the war route. Let them niggas in the East go to war route. That's why you had all these migrations coming into Kemet, these foreigners coming in, because it was great wars going on in the further eastern countries. And the reason you don't hear about it, because they destroyed everything. They destroyed the records. They destroyed any account that there was even a war here. If it wasn't for the Awas, we would have never known that it was great wars going on in India and Persia, and why that was creating migrations coming into Egypt. People looking for food. These nomadic peoples, just like in the wars with Ukraine and them. You see how the nomadics, they leaving their land by the thousands, walking to the next land, the next country, trying to get in through the borders. Why are they doing that? It's due to warfare. It's the same shit in ancient times. When they was coming in ancient Kemet, the Asiatics, it was due to warfare, but ain't nobody studying what was going on in the far eastern countries like Persia, Afghanistan, and India during those times of 3rd millennium BC. The reason why they was having migrations, and there are a lot. There's 2 reasons for me why they have migrations. Drought is one reason. When there's a drought, there's a migration. And when there's a war, there's a migration of people. Anytime there's a war, you're going to see a migration of people getting the fuck up out there trying to flee. Just like in the Exodus. It was a migration of niggas leaving out. They was leaving out while a city was being destroyed, according to the narrative or the story, right? Obiyah was good. Peace to the God. Peace to the God. Exodus 24:11. What we talking about there? Let's see what we talking about. Let's see what Omiyah talking about. Exodus 24:11. Exodus 24:11. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he said, not his hand also they saw God and did eat and drink. See that? They go another verse where Omiyah just brought out where they saw God. It's plain as day right there. Saw God. They saw God. Let's see what saw mean, because some people are trying to play word games. What do saw mean? It says it what? To see, perceive, look. So we can't play word games right here when it say they saw God and they ate and drank. And look what it say here. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mountain and be there. Stop right there. And the Lord said, is the Lord one or two persons? This is the Lord. This is supposed to be creator. The Lord said, Yahuwah said unto Moses, come up to me into the mountain. Now, when we go back to Acts, when we go to Acts 7:38, what Darryl brought out earlier, sword session, you know what I mean? It says here, the angel which spoke to him in the Mount Sinai. So now, look what they did to the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up to me into the mount and be there. The Lord has now been deified as an angel. Because in this verse, the angel, which would be associated with the Lord, is the one who spoke to him on Mount Sinai. When it says mount right here, they talking about goddamn Mount Sinai. Let's click. Mountain, hill, in reference to Mount Sinai. And then what did this angel do? What did the angel? The angel which spoke to him in Mount Sinai and with our and with our fathers. Let's stop there. See, we break sentences down. We break these sentences down. It says, with our fathers. So who came before Moses? Abraham. Who came before Abraham? Noah. Who came before Noah? Enoch. Who came before Enoch? Goddamn Adam. So right here, it's letting you know that your God been an angel from the goddamn beginning. Matter of fact, here you go, right there. Y'all see that? So peep game now. This is Moses' time right here. And the Lord said unto Moses, come up unto me into the Mount Sinai, and be there. And I will give thee tablets of stone, and the law and commandments which I have written, that thou may teach them. The Lord is writing. This is not symbolic. This is actual fact that what their Lord is talking about. He gonna write down some laws. And then here it says, this is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angels which spoke to him in Mount Sinai, and with our fathers, who received the living oracles to give unto us. See that? With our fathers, our forefathers. To whom our fathers, who not obey, but thrust him from them in their hearts, turned back again into Egypt, saying unto Aaron, Make us gods. Make us what? Elohims. To be before us. For as for this Moses, which brought us out of the land of Egypt, we not know what has become of him. They talking to this nigga like we don't even, like, they not talking like we from the same tribe. They talking like, yo, this Moses dude you brought up, who led us out, this dude, we don't know what became of him. So we think we need to go back and start worshiping the gods of Egypt so they can bring us bread and water and, rain, whatever they was offering up to these false gods. And just because they false gods don't think they can't do miracles or make miraculous things happen. What makes them false is the confession of them being creator. But the powers that comes with the angelical side is still there. And they made a calf in those days and offered sacrifice unto the idol, and rejoiced in the works of their own hands. So they made a calf. They made goddamn Hathor, the bull, the cow deity. So we just, we just showing you easy work, really, that we trying to show you that the biblical God is an angel. Angels are one-time human beings. Like all of us are angels. You might as well say all of us are angels. That's like saying all of us are humans. That's like saying all of us are mortals. All of us are man. To say angel is equivalent to those things. It's not no spooky, spaced out little white kid with wings on his goddamn backs, poking niggas with hearts or arrows and shit. That's not what we talking about. If you still thinking that, then yeah, you I don't even know what to say to you. You a grown ass man thinking angel mean goddamn a little white kid with wings on some Valentine's Day shit. You should be ashamed of yourself as a grown ass man and shit. If that's your belief of what an angel is. Because in the Hebrew, angel just means messenger. In order for you to get a message, somebody got to tell you the shit. Messages just don't come out of thin air. Ain't no messages out of thin air, just out of floating clouds, floating space, just coming to me, telling me anything. If I get a message, it's gonna come. My wife's gonna come downstairs and say, yo, I got a message. My homie gonna hit me up on my line, yo, I got a message. I'm gonna get the message from another person who look like me, a humanoid. So angels ain't nothing but one-time men. That's why when you look at their gods, let's pull up their gods, because they made images of their gods. See, they forget that. They deified their gods. How did they deify their gods? They had to see them, right? Didn't we just show you verses where man saw God? Didn't we just show you a verse where it says, and they saw God and ate and drank? Didn't we just show that? So if they saw God, a nigga who got a good hand to draw and got a good memory, like, yo, I remember what God looked like, yo. There go God right here, son. I seen God. This is how he looked. God came down and ate and drank with us. Look at this. Look at this picture right here. The God drinking tea. See? He poured out. It's like he holding a jug of some drink right here. Let's go back to that Exodus 24:11. What did it say? And upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he laid not his hand. And also they saw God and did eat and drink. Look, this is like the noble. This is God. He's seeing God face to face. He got the drink in his hand right here. It's like he pouring God a cup. Yo, my nigga, let's take a sip. You know what I mean? I can't believe I'm standing next to God. It's like you standing next to your favorite rapper or your favorite entertainer or your favorite ball player. And God, that's like LeBron right there. That's LeBron sitting on the throne like, yeah, what's up with y'all little niggas? Yeah, I know you see me on the court. I'm God on the court. You know what I mean? Ain't no other gods like me on the court. I know Jordan had his day, but I'm the new God. You see him? And the dude pouring a drink like, yeah, LeBron, you that nigga, you God. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but my point is man talking to man. Even though God is a title bestowed on an angel, he's still a man. And here we're showing that the noblemen, this is the nobleman right here, seeing God face to face. Moses saw God face to face. Jacob saw God face to face. This is the seeing of God face to face right here. This is L right here. This is L. This is L. All these niggas sit. Notice all of them sitting on a square. They sitting on a square, which is meaning they sitting on a seat of authority. They sit on a throne. This is a sign of authority. When they sitting on a square, This is the sign of the story. This is the judgment seat that the Owaski talk about. The judgment seat, where the God's the creator of laws for the kingdom. He's sitting on his authority, his rulership, his seat of authority. They saw God and made images. See? El is the leader of all Canaanite gods, the creator. So El came down, and upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he said, he laid not his hand. Also, they saw God. That's the key point. They saw God. They saw God right there. Moses saw God face to face. And this is the God. So we ain't making this shit up. This, you know, this is your creator. If you believe in the Bible, and you believe in that Genesis story, and you believe that the one that came to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because this is who you think the Most High is. I came to your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But somebody usurped the shit. Somebody altered the shit. A fallen angel took those words and placed him in the forefront, and now you deifying the deity instead of deifying the creator. This is what you deifying right here. This guy. This is El. There go El. That's your God. That's your God, Israel. This is the God of Israel. When it just says, I am a man of war, the Lord is his name, this is him. That's the God of Israel, family. See, we distinguishing right now the deities. So you've been taught that the deity is the creator. And not only have you been taught that the deity is the creator, you haven't been taught creator. You've never been taught creator. Ever since you've been reading this Holy Bible, you have never been taught creator. I can talk this shit now. I can talk this shit, man. Did the Kemetic text, did the biblical text, did the Quranic text. The OSB is showing you that all these texts are dealing with angels, one-time human beings that's professing to be the one that created the sun, moon, and stars and all the vortices in creation. That's a heavy goddamn burden to carry, and that's a heavy claim to make. And now you got the book exposing the claim. So that's like you claiming to be the greatest and hitting somebody like, nah, this nigga ain't the greatest. Let me expose how he not the greatest. Let me show you the weak points. Boom, 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 boom. That's what the book doing. Kayla in the building. Dreadful, I see you. I see you, Sean. We chopping it up. See what I'm saying? Keep in mind, in the Bible, people believe that God convinced Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. So in the biblical read, God is playing with goddamn Isaac. Hold on, let me get the verse. What verse is it where God about to sacrifice Isaac? Let's see if I can pull it up. Genesis 22. Let's go to Genesis 22. Let's see if it's there. Because it's a blood clot vibes. Let me run the blood clot rhythm out. Let me look for the thing, yeah. Genesis 22. What? I gotta read the whole verse. sharing it for shirt. You already know, creative gang. You know how we do. God up for the shirts. Creative gang family, faithless family. All right, so where we at? Yeah, Abraham. So I guess Genesis 22 is where it talks about the sacrifice of Abraham. I ain't gonna read the whole chapter, but I'll skim through it. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. So in the biblical account, he told him right off the bat, but in the Owaspy, he leads him on. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son and cleaved the wood for the burnt offering and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. So it's like this nigga, God, I mean, this nigga Abraham ain't question shit. God came with the tempt, and he like, all right, let me go ahead and start grabbing this wood and willow and, you know what I mean, get my ass together and my donkey, and we're going to go ahead and burn my son because God said so. It's like he ain't questioning shit. He just going along with it. Like, all right, he rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass. Like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? Well, and this is what I mean by questioning the gods, because Abraham ain't questioning God. He just going along with the flow. What it say? Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. Now let's skim down to where he got them by to slay his ass. Let's go ahead. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac, his son. This nigga said he took the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac, his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. So Isaac with the shits, he like, yeah, Pops, go ahead and burn me, man. We're going to prove that how your loyalty to God is. Go ahead and, you know what I mean, put the Brillo pads over me. Go ahead and get the fire, get the gasoline, and go ahead and get them chestnuts roasting for my fucking ass to be up in them hells, my nigga. I fuck with you, Abraham. You my pops. You know what I mean? I love that you don't listen to God. You just obey the nigga. And being that you just obeying God, you're going to burn me alive, and I'm going to be chestnuts roasted on an open fire for you. I love you, Father. That's Isaac talking to Abraham, and these niggas is being deceived like a motherfucker right here. It says, Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac, his son. So just imagine this nigga just laying there. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Yo, put the wood across my belly, across my chest. Yeah, so we can get a good burning. That's like, you got to be kidding me, man. Come on. Y'all niggas got to be kidding me taking this shit for real. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spoke unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering? Like, you gonna be the burnt offering. And Abraham said, My son, God will provide him a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. Then it came to pass, then they came to the place which God had told him of Abraham, built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hands and took a knife to slay his son. He ain't questioning God. He just believing in God. And what Abraham about to do? And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. Now, in the Owaspy now, at that point is where Abraham questioned the nigga, like, hold up now. But in the Bible, Abraham ready to slay the nigga. He like, I ain't questioning shit. I'm about to just kill my son to prove my loyalty to this God. That's like gang initiation, where you got to kill a nigga to prove your initiation. So this is Abraham initiation to the covenant by spilling blood, by killing his firstborn to this God, this false satanic God who you thought was the creator. Now where's the book of Abraham? Right here. Right here. Let's go to chapter 10. Really chapter 9. Alright, so watch this. Where we at with it? 7. So 9 right here. Boom. So this is the story of Abraham and the Owaspy dealing with the same situation with this angel assuming to be God. Hold up. Okay, yeah. All right, so check it. Right here. So when the Owaspy says, and when they ascended to the place, Abraham gathered logs and heaped them up, and Isaac placed the willows. And here it states, then the Spirit spoke, saying, what shall a man love above all things in the world? And Abraham said, God. And the Spirit said, for which reason you shall offer your only son Isaac as a burnt offering, and it shall be testimony before your people that you will what? Obey God even to the sacrifice of your own flesh and kin. Now this is where the Spirit tells Abraham the whole purpose of getting the burnt offering together, but he didn't let Abraham know that it was his son he wanted to sacrifice until this point. But in the Bible, it already got Abraham, like he already knew that he was going to sacrifice his son without questioning the God. So now, Abraham says right here, Abraham said, show me that you are God so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. So Abraham questioned the Spirit. He ain't do this shit right here. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. See, in the Bible, Abraham ain't questioned shit. He stretched forth his hand like, nigga, I'm about to slay your ass, Isaac. But in the Owaspy, Abraham said, show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. See the difference? Owaspy is showing you that Abraham questioned the Spirit, while in the biblical account, you got Abraham not questioning, just obeying the God of destruction, because he's convincing this nigga to kill. You think this is God in the Bible telling Abraham to do this. In the Owaspy, it's letting you know that this is a fallen angel, a spirit, assuming. Because see, look what it stated next. Abraham said, show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. So you think this is God, because in the Bible, you think God is doing this, because it says it right here. In Genesis 22, verse 9, coming back up, it says, and they came to the place which what? God had told of them. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. So here they show you that they already bound Isaac. But in the Owaspy, he ain't bound Isaac. He says he prepared everything. The only thing was missing was the person or the lamb for the sacrifice. So at this point is when the Spirit revealed to Abraham his intentions. Prior to this, if you read the Owaspy, you know that prior to this, the angel didn't reveal his intentions. And then up here, just to come back, Owaspy let you know that this was a fallen angel. Right here. In this verse. Verse 9:11. And when they were still praying before the altar, God withdrew from Abraham and allowed the evil angels who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near the altar. And this is the catcher. This is your biblical God who you thought is God. Because the true living God withdrew. The reason God withdrew, because he was testing Abraham. He was testing Abraham. Let me come back a verse up. Now, after Abraham and his people had returned to Jireh, his camp, and it was night, God said to Abraham, be steadfast and show your people so that they may understand my words. So God is telling Abraham, be steadfast, because why? I'm about to tempt you. I'm about to try you. to see if you really are of me, the creator. Because I told you, Abraham, thou shalt not murder and thou shalt not kill. Now I'm going to withdraw myself and allow these evil angels, and they're going to assume to be me, but they're going to convince you to kill, and I'm going to see if you're going to withhold your words. That's what the test is about. In your Bible, it says test the spirit. Here's the test. And while they were still praying before the altar, God withdrew from Abraham and allowed the evil angels who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near the altar. And one of the angels clothed himself in a great light. This is the catcher right here. Let me get it. It says, and one of the angels clothed himself in a great light and adorned with sparkling gems and a crown. He appeared, so all the multitude looked upon him. So this is, now keep in mind, this is an evil angel. And he is appearing as an angel clothed himself in great light. And then Abraham asks him, who are you? And he says, I am your God. Now, when we go back to the Bible, he's professing to be God. When we go back to the Bible, when we go back to Genesis 22 chapter, go back to verse 1, it states, Genesis chapter 2, Genesis 22 verse 1, and it came to pass after these things that what? God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. That right there is referring to this. Abraham said, who are you? And the Spirit said, I am your God. See that? That's coinciding with the precept of Genesis 22:1. And it came to pass that these things, and it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, behold, here I am. Now, the interesting with this verse is that, as we read earlier, that God is tempting Abraham. Right here. It says, and it was night. God said, this is the true God, said, be steadfast and show your people so that they may understand my words. So being steadfast, he's about to be tempted. And while they were still praying before the altar, God withdrew from Abraham. He's preparing to tempt Abraham. This is coinciding with this verse where it states that God did tempt Abraham. And then it states, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, I am. So at this point, this is the evil angel speaking, while at this point, this is the true and living God speaking, letting Abraham know I'm about to tempt you. But both of the deities are within the same verse. Only through the Owaspi you can really differentiate the two, because here it's the same exact thing. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham. Yes, this is the tempting of Abraham when it says, and it was near, and God said, be steadfast. That's the tempting. Be steadfast, because I'm about to tempt you. God withdrew from Abraham and allowed the evil angels who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near the altar. So you have the evil angels, which would coincide with this part of the verse when it says, and said unto Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. That's coinciding with this part. And Abraham said, who are you? And the Spirit said, I am your God. But this spirit being the evil angels, and then what? And one of them clothed himself in a great light and adorned with a sparkling gem and a crown. And he appeared so that all the people, all the multitude could look upon him. So everybody's seeing this shit. It ain't like he coming to Abraham by himself in a secret in a dark corner. He appeared to everybody and told everybody, I am God, ruler of heaven and earth. Right here. He didn't say in this verse that he gonna sacrifice his son Isaac. All he said in this verse is what? This is the highlight of the angel's verse. A statement here. Go with me where I will lead you. That's the key. Go with me where I will lead you. So all he's saying is that you shall take your only son Isaac and your host who were with you at Sodom and Gomorrah and go with me and I will lead you. So he ain't telling what their intent. He ain't saying, I'm going to burn your son Isaac in the Owaspis. He's leading him on. The angel is leading him on. The evil angel that clothed himself, claiming to be God, is leading him on in the Owaspis version. And Abraham said what? How you good? We should be good. Mike Checky and the motherfucking Billy. All right, yeah, I'm back on, King. Let me know if you can hear me, King. Put a one in the chat if you hear me. Put a one in the chat if you get us understanding all at the same damn time. Yeah, you back on. Shout out. Give a shout out, Bronze Yogi. Say what's up to the fam. What's up, fam? What it do? It's Bronze Yogi right here, man. It's the big homie. Yo, why I blacked that out, King? You can remember? Oh, he gone. Bronze Yogi dipped out. Bronze Yogi dipped out. He had to change these load up the battery. But yeah, though. All right, so goddamn, I ain't the ones coming in. So yeah, what I was basically doing was differentiating the Abraham story of Isaac being sacrificed in comparison to the the Owaspy story of Abraham, where Abraham questioned God. So I don't know where I left off of where in blank at. But what I was stating here, it says, and it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he beheld, and he said, behold, I am here. And then he states here, and he said, take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee. So he's letting Abraham know right off the bat, I want you to sacrifice your son. And Abraham ain't questioning. But in the Owaspy, the angel states, Abraham said, who are you? So first the angel appeared. I don't know if I went through this, but I'll do it again. And it says, and while they were still praying before the altar, God withdrew from Abraham, the true and living God, because he's tempting Abraham, and allowed the evil angels who had followed them from Sodom and Gomorrah to draw near the altar. And one of the angels clothed himself in a great light and adorned with sparkling gems in the crown, and he appeared so all the multitude of the people could look upon him. So this nigga ain't come in the dark corner. He came so everybody could see him. He claiming to be God. That's what he claiming to be. That's what he claiming to be. All right. Abraham said, who are you? And the Spirit said, I am your God, ruler of heaven and earth. Abraham said, well, I'm your servant. What's good? What's popping? He said, what I may do for you. He said, what I may do for you. He said, and the Spirit said, you shall take your only son Isaac. Now, here's the catch. This is what the Spirit is saying in the Owaspy. This is the difference from the biblical account. He says, you shall take your only son Isaac and your hosts who were with you at Sodom and Gomorrah, and go with me where I will lead you, for I have a great work for you to do. So he ain't telling his intentions. He just said, go with me and I will lead you. But in the biblical account right off the bat, he's telling Abraham, I want you to sacrifice your son. He says, and offer him therefore a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. So in the biblical account, Abraham is aware that he's going to be sacrificing Isaac, while in the Owaspy, he is what? Go with me and I will lead you, for I have a great work for you. He's leading, the angel is leading him on. He's not letting Abraham know that I want you to sacrifice your son yet. Abraham said, I will go whatever. Abraham said, I will do whatever you put upon me to do. So now, this verse in the Owaspy, verse 9:14, is going to coincide with Genesis 22, verse 3, where Genesis 22, verse 3 states, and Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and cleaved the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. So Abraham in the Bible knows that he's going to sacrifice his son as a burnt offering because God made it clear to him. But in the Owaspy, it states, so in the morning, Abraham and his son Isaac and the host who had been with Abraham to Sodom and Gomorrah assembled together. And Abraham spoke, saying, where to, God? Like, where are we going? Now, keep in mind, in the Owaspy, Abraham don't know the intentions of the God. All this angel knows is that what? Look what it states. The Spirit answered, saying, take sticks and a firebrand, torches, and come to the summit of the hill over there. For you shall restore the right of burnt offerings. That's the intention. That's the test that the angel is putting upon Abraham. For you shall restore the rights of burnt offerings. This is the test. Keep in mind, God withdrew from Abraham and allowed the evil angels to come in because this is the test. This is the true and living God through the Creator testing Abraham to see if he's worthy to be of God or not, because he has been commanded not to kill. So the angel is telling Abraham, I want you to restore the rights of burnt offerings. And Abraham told the people what God had said. So they began, and Isaac carried the bundle of willows, such as basket makers use, saying, this will light the large pieces, but what will you burn for an offering, O father? And Abraham said, God will provide. Abraham said that because Abraham said that because he don't know what God is going to use for the sacrifice. He didn't tell Abraham, yo, I'm going to burn your son for the sacrifice. Abraham is still aware at this point because he's being led on. While in the Bible, he's already knowing that he's going to burn Isaac. I'm showing you the difference between obeying and questioning. So, then it states here, that on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And look, Abraham said unto his young men, abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac, his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. So keep in mind, Abraham is already aware that he's going to be burning the son in the Bible. But in the Owaspy, he's being led on, and he's unaware of what that sacrifice is going to be. So now, and Isaac spoke unto Abraham his father and said, my father. And he said, here I am, my son. And he said, behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, my son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they both of them together. So now Isaac is questioning, like, what they gonna burn? Like, who? He unaware that, nigga, you the sacrifice, you the meal. And in this verse in the Owaspy, the angel is trying to convince Abraham to sacrifice Isaac without him knowing yet. So here it states, Abraham told the people that God had said, so they began, and Isaac carried the bundles of willow, such as basket makers use, saying, this will light the large pieces, but what will you burn for an offering, O father? And Abraham said, God will provide. And when they ascended to the place, Abraham gathered the logs and heaped them together and heaped them up, and Isaac placed the willows. And here's the test right here. Then the Spirit spoke, saying, what shall a man love above all things in the world? And here's the test. Your Bible say test the Spirit. Here is the test right here. This is the highlight right here. Then the Spirit spoke, saying, what shall a man love above all things in the world? And Abraham said, God. And the Spirit said, for which reason you shall offer your only son Isaac as a burnt offering, and it shall be testimony before your people that you will what? Obey God even to the sacrifice of your own flesh and kin. So that's when Abraham becomes aware of the intention of this evil angel, convincing Abraham to sacrifice and kill his son. So now Abraham is aware of it, where it states here in the Bible, and they came to the place which God told him, and Abraham built an altar and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac, his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. So here in the biblical account, Abraham is aware that he's going to kill his son, got him bound up and all that or whatever, right? While in this account, he's now revealing to Abraham his intentions. So in the Bible, he already got Isaac got them tied up right here. He says, and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son, right there. And bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. So Abraham is already in the knowing that he's going to sacrifice his son Isaac for this God, because he's just obeying and not questioning. While in the Owaspy, it states what? What's it states? And then the Spirit saying, what shall a man love above all things in the world? Which Abraham said, God. The Spirit said, for which reason you shall offer your only son Isaac as a burnt offering, and it shall be testimony before your people that you will obey God even to the sacrifice of your own flesh and kin. But look what Abraham said. This is the catch. Look at the difference between these next verses from the Bible, from the Owaspy. Now, this is the biblical, this is the Owaspy account right after that statement. Abraham said, show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. See that? He questioned the angel. He just didn't believe him. He questioned the God. But in the Bible, look what the next verse states. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. Abraham ain't questioned shit. He said, I'm ready to put this pain in. Let me go get this knife and start gutting my son because I want to show my obedience to you, God. That's the equivalent of gang banging when a gang leader, you want to be so down with the gang, you're willing to do anything to be initiated in. So the gang leader say, all right, you want to be down with us? Go out there at midnight and go slay a man, go kill a man. And then that's going to be your initiation, blood in, blood out. That's what you're going to show me that you down with us. That's how your God talking right here. That's how this false fallen angel, this evil angel, assuming to be God, who crept up in the biblical text, got you thinking that God was convincing Abraham to sacrifice his son, not knowing it was a fallen angel, an evil spirit. So in the biblical account, Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. To slay his son. See that? So look, Abraham said, show me that you are God so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. See, Abraham in the Owaspi said, yo, key point right here. Abraham said, for I have been commanded not to kill. While in the Bible, Abraham stretched forth his hand ready to slay some shit. It ain't no more I was commanded not to kill. Forget that. God said slay this nigga, and I'm going to slay this nigga, although God told me thou shalt not murder and kill. So I'm going against my God's word because God told me to go against my God's word. God told me to go against his word. And here I am now slaying my son. See that? Just to prove my loyalty to God. But in the Owaspi, Abraham questioned the God, said, nigga, I have been commanded not to kill. And what did the next verse states? It states what? And the spirit departed away, perceiving that he knew the higher law. The spirit got the hell on. What did the next verse say in the Bible? And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. Now keep in mind, Abraham, in the midst of this, Abraham's hand is stretched forth. So this nigga like this, when the Lord came out and said, yo, Abraham, and Abraham like, yo, what's good? I'm about to slay my son. My hands are stretched forth. What's up? You intervening, what's good? And the angel said, what? And he said, lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God, seeing that has not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. See the bullshit? If God told you don't kill in the first place, you wouldn't even be convinced. You wouldn't even be raising your hand. If you raising your hand about to slay forth your son, that angel coming out of heaven and earth should have been, the angel speaking out of heaven should have been like, nigga, I'm disappointed in you, bro. I told your monkey ass not to kill, and here your ass is with your hand lifted up about to slay your son. Nigga, you failed the test. You remember I told you I was going to test your ass? It was a game, nigga. You failed, bro. Come on, bro. Let's try this shit again. You know what I mean? Nigga, you down two, my nigga. You down two. This the second time I done tested your ass and you failed. I told you, thou shalt not kill. Then I created a circumstance and sent the angel, assuming to be the Most High, telling you to kill. And here you are with your hand stretched forth. I'm looking down from heaven with your hand up with a knife in your hand, about to slay your only son Isaac when I told your monkey ass thou shalt not kill. You see how that worked? You see how that worked? The biblical account is showing you the foolishness of Abraham's action, being obedient without questioning the God. While in the Owaspi account, it's showing you that Abraham was being misled, then the intention was revealed of what Abraham needed to do. Abraham questioned the angel, and the angel departed away from Abraham, perceiving that Abraham knew the higher law. Huh? And when Abraham found that out, that he was deceived, this is what the nigga said. Abraham said, this testimony I declare to you, regarding which your own brethren are witnesses, that even the children, even the chosen of God, can be deceived by evil angels. See that? For they can take any name and form, and having no fear of God, meaning the true and living God, rightful ruler of heaven and earth, before them, declaring falsehood for truth and darkness for light. That's what we're showing you here. This biblical God, because you've been taught that in the Bible, God tempted Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. And Abraham stretched forth his hand, about to slay his son. And then the voice comes out of heaven and say, chill. You was obedient. No, you was not obedient. You was about to kill your son. I told you thou shalt not murder and kill. This should have been the answer. This should have been the answer right here in the Bible. And Abraham said, show me that you are God so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. Nigga, that's supposed to have been in the Bible. That's what it's supposed to have said. But in the Bible, Abraham about to slay his son. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. See that? Over here, Abraham ain't pick up shit. He like, hold up, man. He like, hold up, bro. Hold up, bro. Abraham said, hold up, bro. The hood came out of Abraham. He was all righteous. Abraham was all righteous to the nigga at first. He was like, yeah, man, I'll do anything you want me to do. I'm your servant. When that nigga said, sacrifice your son, Abraham said, hold up, bro. The hood came out of Abraham. Hold up, bro. So that I may not, for I have been commanded not to kill, partner. What you talking about? And when Abraham turned up, the nigga got scared and departed away. The spirit departed away, knowing that Abraham was gangster. The nigga said, damn, you see that nigga voice change? That nigga done got gangster. He done figured out we some imposters. Let's get the fuck up out of here. And the spirit departed away from Abraham, perceiving that he knew the higher law. See that? That's what's going on. And that's what Abraham told his people right here. That's what Abraham told his people right here. And Abraham said, this testimony I declare to you, regarding which which your own brethren are witness, that even the chosen of God can be deceived by evil angels. For they can take any name and form and have no fear of God before them, declaring falsehood for truth and darkness for light. See that? See that? See blood clot dot? And also, as you have seen, the evilest of cities, even as well as the purest, may be the abiding place of angels. See that? It's Abraham. For which reason you shall not seek signs and miracles. See, some of us are trying to seek signs and miracles. That's why I say you got to be careful. Don't be running around here trying to tap in, trying to set up these. Be careful with these altars, because you're tapping into a realm that you are inexperienced in, and you're tapping into a realm where there are experienced workers on the other side that know how to engraft themselves on people. And next thing you know, you wake up the next morning and family members notice your ass done changed. You know what? Such and such ain't been acting the same lately. Your ass in the closet trying to do some goddamn conjuring, conjured up the wrong shit. Now you got an engrafted spirit on your ass. This shit is real. For which reason you shall not seek signs and miracles, for these may be from evil spirits, even though they show their bodies or converse learnedly. This is the catcher of this verse right here for me. This is the spooky shit when it says converse learnedly. So you may tap in talking to one of these angels, and this nigga spewing out some good information to you like, yo, this nigga killing it. I done communicated with the angels, and I finally tapped in, and this nigga telling me shit on some genius shit. But guess what the nigga is, though? His ass an evil spirit. That's the spooky shit about it. It ain't like the evil spirit of some dumb type of motherfucker. The evil spirit, like, yeah, nigga, the vortices around, there's vortices around the celestial bodies of the planets. It's the celestial bodies that can't exist without the vortex. That nigga talking like that with you. Huh? The evil spirit is telling you about Jehovah's vortices. But at the same time will slay and inspire you to kill. Although he's talking about Jehovah's vortices. This is how deep the rabbit hole gets. Again, for which reason you shall not seek signs and miracles. For these may be from evil spirits, even though they show their bodies or converse learnedly. It is not in thy power. It is not in the power of man to know by words or signs or by oaths, promises, what is truth. You've been taught truth by oaths and promises and covenants. You've been taught that You have a covenant with God, a blood covenant at that. And that's your aspect of truth. That's what you've been obeying without questioning the God. Huh? What to say? But the Father has created one thing besides, which is his own light, for which reason be believing toward men and angels. And when they teach you according to Jehovah, which is life to life, which is life to all, and happiness to all, without sacrifice to any, they are holy. See that? He's letting you know. If a man or angel say, visit the sick and administer the distress, follow his advice, for he is of the Father. See that? It's letting you know basic shit. How you determine those in service to the Creator in comparison to those in service himself. We showing you this biblical God has layers. We showing you from the Owaski how his layers to these angels played out in the scripture. You gotta distinguish which one is coming from a true God from a false God. It's a lot of work to do in that Bible. You watch this thing, you know, I'm a single like, yo, this is the nigga who claimed to be God over here during this time. This is another set of niggas who claimed to be God during this time, and so forth and so on. That's why they play niggas, man. Give me a one in the chat if you get this understanding. It's a blood clot vibes. Oral law always comes before the written law. The oral tradition came before. The oral tradition is how you get the written tradition. The Oralites. Oh, yeah. It's the vibes. Yes, family, you're done, no. Line up yourself, pick up yourself. I see you in the building. It's a blood clot vibe. So what I just showed just now was the distinguishing difference between Abraham in the Owaski, where he questions the God, in comparison to Abraham in the Bible, where he just obeys without questioning, willing to sacrifice and kill his son Isaac, when the commandment is thou shalt not murder and kill. Thou shalt not murder and kill has been around long before Abraham. Owaski shows you that. But when your God is convincing you to kill, when your God is telling you thou shalt not murder and kill, then later on down the line switches bound and say, you know what, it's okay, man, go ahead and slay them niggas. That's a contradiction of God's actions and words. You know, we from the streets, right? Some of you niggas got a gangbanging background in real life, or some of you niggas got a hustling background in real life, or some of you niggas is just street niggas who just out in the streets and just be out there and know what's going on. You know, it's a street code and a street protocol. You know how the streets work. If I came to you and said, my nigga, don't have nobody on this block right here. Them niggas over there on block 2, don't have nobody on block 2 on block 1. I tell you that. And you're like, all right, cool. You keeping them niggas from block 1 off of block 2. But then the next day you see niggas from block 1 in block 2, and you couldn't be like, yo, I see these niggas in block 1 over there. Oh yeah, I told them niggas to go over there, you know. I thought you know, the commandment was don't have them niggas come over there. Now you switching up. Why you switching up? It's like you contradicting yourself, man. You told them niggas now they over here. What's going on? I need more in. That's how that shit. That's the mindset. You gonna start looking at the motherfucker who's calling the shots like, yo, this nigga double-minded, yo. In one breath, he rocking with the ops. In another breath, he saying, fuck the niggas. I'm confused. It's the same thing in distinguishing these biblical precepts. In one breath, God telling niggas don't kill. In another breath, God is commanding niggas to slay man, woman, and child, and infant. Here's the fucked up thing about that. Not only because, here's where the Israelites try to be tricky. They'll say, we ain't supposed to kill within the tribes, within the house of Israel. When Moses was given those commandments of thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not kill, it was to the house of Israel only. And then when we bring up that the Israelites ran up into the land of Canaan and slayed men, women, children, and infant, they'll rebuttal that and say, well, those were the Canaanites, those were hybrids, or those were the curse seeds. Okay, you could have that. Now let's go to Judges 20, when Benjamin and the house of Israel was warring and killing each other. That's within the house of Israel now. Now what's your explanation for that? Because in that instance, the Lord is conspiring. The Lord is telling the house of Israel to go against and do battle with the Benjamites. Because the house of Israel counseled the Lord, or counseled God on what to do. And God said, send Judah up to go battle against the Benjamites, or the house of Israel, or however it went. But chapter 20 in Judges in the Bible, that whole chapter is a battle between the house of Israel and the tribes of Benjamin, and the Lord, the God, is conspiring the battle. The same nigga who said thou shalt not murder and kill is now telling the house of Israel to slay men. This is the creator of the sun, moon, and stars, who create galaxies. That's the same one who's moving as a tribal god now, telling men to slay thy brother. He ain't say, you know what? Don't kill the house of Israel. Don't kill the house of Benjamin. Y'all niggas need to work it out. This is God. You got the master intelligence. You're supposed to figure out an intelligent scheme to get these niggas from stop fighting. They coming to you for counsel. Whatever you said goes. When the house of Israel, let's get that, the book of Judges, chapter 20. Book of Judges, chapter 20. Now I'm going to show receipts. Biblical receipts. So look, where that verse at? Where they consulted God. Yeah. You know what? Let me take off the Strongs. That should be throwing me off sometimes. All right. Where that? These niggas, let me get that verse where they gonna consult. There you go right there. See, it's over for you niggas right there. That's it. It's over. It's over for you niggas. Ain't nothing else to talk about after this. And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God. That's it right there. It's over for God. This is God's. This is where God can prove his powers of being who he say he is. As far as, well, I can't even say that because y'all totally lost in the Bible as far as this God. Y'all don't know who y'all following. So again, the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, and Yahuwah said, Judah shall go up first. The Lord said Judah shall go up first to do battle, to kill his brother. This ain't the cursed seed. This ain't the Canaanites. This ain't the cursed seed or the hybrids that they like to say about the Canaanites. It ain't them. Who is this? The children of Israel going against battle against the children of Benjamin. And the Lord is involved in the bloodshed. They came to, this is it right here. This is, and went up to the house of God and asked God for counsel. This is it. And went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God. They looking for answers. Because if they had the answers, they would have dealt with it themselves and ain't go to the house of God. If I got to go to the house of God and ask God for counseling, nigga, I need help. Instead of God saying, you know what, man? Y'all brothers. Y'all need to stop this fight. They would have listened. If God would have said, surrender your arms, they would have listened. The children of Israel would have listened. And if God would have went to the children of Benjamin and said the same thing, surrender your arms, they would have listened, because this is God. If they would have disobeyed God, then that's when you got them slaying the niggas. I respect God for slaying niggas for not putting down their goddamn arms in comparison to the other way around. So what I'm saying to you is, in the Bible, the same God who said, thou shalt not murder, what is that? What's the thou shalt not murder verse? Exodus 15:3? No, that's not it. Well, that's just backing up God's behavior right here anyway. The Lord is a man of war, and went up to the house of God and asked counsel for God. So being that God is a man of war, he's using his war tactics. The Lord said, yo, send up Judah. Send them niggas up, yo. As a war general, go ahead and send up Judah. Them niggas is the most ignorant. Them niggas is the most brutal. They're going to get the job done. That's how the Lord talking. The children of Israel probably listening to God, like, looking at each other, like, scratching their heads, like, damn, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting us, to wave, tell us to wave the white flag or something. He like, nah, nigga, tell Judah to go up first. And the children of Israel arose in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. Now, keep in mind, in this verse of here, when they counseled God, they didn't question the God. They just obeyed what God said. They didn't say, nah, they didn't do what Abraham did in the Owaspy. Where that? They ain't do this. I still got it up? Yeah, perfect. They ain't do this. Ain't none of these niggas do this. Ain't none of them niggas said, like Abraham said, show me that you are God so that I might not err. For I have been commanded not to kill. Why did the goddamn Benjamites do that? Why did the children of Israel question God and say that? When the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. Instead of, when the Lord said that, y'all niggas should have been like, yo, show me that you are God so that I may not err. For I have been commanded not to kill. This is what y'all should, that shit right there should have been a lamentation for you niggas. That's a proverb for you niggas. That's abracadabra for you niggas right there. You just repeatedly say that shit. Anytime somebody come trying to convince you to do some killing, or anytime somebody try to say that God is a killer, or God inspires in killing, or try to convince you that it's okay that God is a killer and obey killing, say, show me that you are God so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. That's the catchphrase right there, my nigga. That's the catchphrase from here on out. Show me that you are. Anytime one of these angels come and you claim to be God, anytime somebody come with their biblical God to you, you tell them niggas, show me that you are God so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. That's how we coming with it. But the Lord is a man of war. The Lord, if you dealing with the Lord as a man, war comes with death and destruction. Abraham said, what? Show me that you are God, that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. Now, just imagine if Abraham said that to this Lord. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is just imagine Abraham said that to him. What he gonna say? What he gonna tell Abraham? He gonna what? Float away like the other spirit and realize that Abraham perceived a higher law and he can't convince Abraham with his folly? And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God and said, which of us shall go up first to the battle against the children of Benjamin? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up first. Can you imagine? That's like ISUPK and IUIC at battle. They warring against each other. The purple boys and the black boys warring. They at war. Bodies dropping on both sides. ISUPK losing members, IUIC losing members. But then the children of Israel, I put them as the purple boys, they go up and counsel God. Like, yo, what we gonna do, God? You know what I mean? We at battle, we taking some losses. What's up? God said, yo, send up, you know what I mean, your North Carolina branch. 2,000 soldiers. Send them up to battle. Send the purple boys up in North Carolina to do battle against the children of Israel. I mean, the children of the Benjamites or the ISUPK. Send them niggas send the North Carolina branch against their North Carolina branch. See how that shit work? This the fault. This day God talking though. And the children of Israel rose up in the morning and encamped against Gibeah. So that's like Nathaniel and them boys rose up in the morning. Yeah, we're going to camp out against General Yohana over there in the North Carolina branch. And the men of Israel went out to battle against Benjamin. And the men of Israel put themselves in array to fight against them at Gibeah. So they battling. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 22,000 men. See that? See that? 22,000 men fell by the Benjamites. The Benjamites, now keep in mind, God came to the Israelites, the house of Israel, to counsel against the Benjamites. And 22,000 men fell. This is the same one who says, thou shalt not murder and kill. But keep in mind, your God is a God of war, a man of war. But in the Owaspi, Abraham like, yo, show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. So if your God is a man of war, and he out here convincing Israelites to kill, but 22 and 2,000 men are dropping, I ain't fucking with that guy. I'm good. I'm straight. We good. We could part ways. I ain't gonna sign that covenant. I ain't gonna sign that contract. I'm good. Because if you sign that contract now, you under the oath to that false God. But we ain't signed no contracts. Because once Abraham said this is where the contract was about to be signed. Abraham had the pen in his hand, you know what I mean, on the dotted line about to sign that contract with God. And Abraham said, hold. Show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. And the spirit departed away. Once the nigga left, he put the pen down like, I ain't signing this contract, my nigga. You a lying ass, conniving ass, shark ass, entertainment ass nigga. Same shit. Just like the music industry. You sign these contracts. Now you bound to these contracts for 8, 10, 20 years, and you ain't even know it. And they have control of all your material, your creativity, and you just a puppet to your masters. It's the same concept in the music industry with business, dealing with these sharks. The same way it is in religion. Same shit, family. Same blood clot vibes. It's a blood clot vibes. Give me a one in the chat if you get us understanding. You know how we do. Test una spirit, my lad. That's not for doing a kid. Test the spirit to see if they are from the heavenly creator. That's what you have to do. By testing the spirit, you, the individual, gotta be honest. When in the very same book where it says test the spirit, the same God of the book is contradicting himself and falsifying himself while analyzing the spirit of God. Analyzing the character and actions of God in the Bible. Show you that God is a man of war. Show you that goes against creator. By testing the spirit like the Irish say, yeah? You know how we do. It's a blood clot vibes. But this is why we got to test the spirit. Because if we don't test the spirit, like how Abraham, you know what I mean? Abraham was about to get sacrificed, right? In the verse here, where it states he wanted to restore the burnt offerings and sacrifice. He said, the spirit answered, saying, take sticks and a firebrand, a torch, and come to the summit of the hill over here. For you shall restore the rights of burnt offering. That's his intention, to restore the rights of burnt offerings. He's trying to get Isaac sacrificed, but he don't know. But in the Bible, where that verse at? With the sacrifice of Isaac. What verse was that? Chapter 22. Let's go back to 22 real quick. Let's go back to 1:22. Genesis 22. Genesis 22. All right. Let's go back to where Abraham was about to send his son upon all heaven. Right here, Genesis 22:10 is when Abraham was about to send Isaac in upon oil heaven. Right here. Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. In the Owaspy, Abraham got more goddamn common sense in the Owaspy, because Abraham said, I ain't picking up no goddamn knife. Abraham said in the Owaspy, show me that you are God, so that I may not err, for I have been commanded not to kill. So Abraham ain't even pick up the knife. He like, nah, nigga, I'm going to question you because I question all things, because my God told me to question all things. Test the spirit. Abraham, this is the testing of the spirit right here. This is Abraham responding back. Instead of Abraham not responding back and just listening to the spirit, being obedient to the spirit, not questioning the spirit, instead of doing that, Abraham said, nah, I don't give a damn how much power you got. I don't give a damn who you are. I'm going to question you. Show me you not God. Show me that you God, that I may not err. He's telling you, for I have been commanded not to kill. You trying to get me to kill my son, but I've been told before you came to me not to kill, and you the one who told me not to do it. So show me that you God. And the spirit departed away. But in the Bible, what Abraham doing? Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son, to send his ass in upon soul heaven. Abraham was about to send his goddamn son in upon oil heaven in the Bible. And the angel of the Lord was okay with this shit. So this is where Abraham was about to send his son.
Open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy.
That's where Isaac was headed.
Chestnuts roasting.
According to the Bible, Isaac was headed to pine oil heaven.
Pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting.
Not questioning the God, just believing.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
So if it wasn't for God restraining, because Abraham got his hand like this. He got his hand stretched forth with the knife. Right when Abraham doing this to come down for the slaying, he like, then the voice come out, yo, chill, my nigga. Chill. I see that you obedient. But in the Owaspy, he ain't do this. He go the knife to pick up for the slain. Before Abraham picked up the knife, feel like, hold up. Nigga, show me that you God. Because before you got here, I could have swore you told me about 2 weeks ago, thou shalt not murder and kill. You come to me now talking about kill my son. Nigga, show me you not God, because I've been commanded not to kill. I ain't picking up shit to do this shit. I ain't doing none of that shit. Nigga, prove to me. That's what the Owaspy is showing you. Question the spirit. The Owaspy is demonstrating how Abraham tests the spirit, while in the Bible, you got Abraham with his goddamn hand like this about to slay his son without questioning the goddamn spirit. Abraham was about to send his son into goddamn
chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy.
That's where Abraham was
to
sending his son.
pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed.
Let me pull that back. We get into the holiday spirit because your God is a God that enjoys offerings. Don't you give offerings at Christmas? Thanksgiving, the holiday season, is a time of giving offerings.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed,
I'm just
boy.
being real,
to
family.
Pine oil heaven.
Owaspy already told you they got pine oil heavens in this motherfucker. Foul gases, suffocating hells. Abraham was about to send Isaac to pawn all heaven according to the Bible under the commandment of God. While at least in the Owaspy, it's letting you know that God tested Abraham, withdrew himself, showed you who was the imposters, these evil angels, and one of them clothed themselves in the gleam of light, and then told Abraham that he was God. So this angel who clothed himself in a gleam of light, assuming to be God, that was one out of the evil angel host that came out of Sodom and Gomorrah, is the nigga in your Bible. The evil angel that came from Sodom and Gomorrah, and one nigga out that group that came to Abraham, that's the nigga you have documented in your Bible, claiming to be God. Owaspy exposed this shit. That's why we try to get y'all niggas to get this understanding, so you can see the variations of options you have in just believing in one goddamn book, thinking you got the source. When there's other sources out here, other informations of consciousness, other downloads to make you aware of other conspiracies about fallen angels and gods assuming to take over the humanity and got you believing that this one God is the almighty creator. That's why the Bible say test the spirit. It say test the. If the Bible say test the spirit and God is the spirit, that means you got to test the Bible. Just like the Owaspy say test the Bible. Judge me thy creator. Judge me thy God. Judge all things, nigga. I made you a perpetual judge. You judge all day, every day. You can't escape judgment. Yes, family, pawn all heaven is where these niggas is headed. Question your God. You've been taught in church to obey. Obey God. You can obey God once you question God. See what I'm saying? Abraham had that talk. Yo, nah, my nigga, we're not doing that. Abraham like, no, we're not killing. Yeah, this shit run deep, yo. And the interesting part in the Owaspy is that the story of Abraham finishes when Isaac gets a wife. This is what compels me to believe that if the Owaspy stops at Isaac, we know that Isaac had Jacob. It would have been interesting to see the story of Jacob in the Owaspy to see if the nigga really had 12 brothers or is that something else. You know what I mean? Because there's many hypotheses on that. You know, the 12 tribes didn't exist. The 12 tribes of the zodiacs and all that esoteric. I've been through all the studies, but I still always keep things on the table. I don't get too left field with nothing. I don't say, nah, Jacob couldn't exist, because if Isaac is in existence in the Owaspy, we know from the Bible that, there you go right there. See, look, Sarah had a son and called him Isaac. This is in the Owaspy. So if Isaac is in the goddamn book, more likely Jacob would have, although Jacob is not mentioned, but it may be some relevance to a Jacob in that sense. So if Jacob existed, that means if Jacob existed in the Owaspy, I mean, according to the Owaspy, because if Isaac existed, Jacob would have had to exist. It's just common sense in that factor. Because you got Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the trio. Before even Owaspy, that's what we've been taught, even the biblical concept, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So if Abraham and the Owaspy, if the Owaspy is showing us Abraham and Isaac, although it stops there, we could go ahead and include Jacob. Now the question would be, is Jacob names changing to Israel? Because according to the Owaspy, Israel is a person who receives the knowledge through oral tradition. It's called an oralite. A person who receives knowledge from mouth to ear without writing it down. And these were done in chambers, and a lot of it was the communicating with angels. The angels will be speaking, and you will be receiving, and you will learn that way. You will memorize what the angel is telling you. That's how you got the tradition. That's the oral tradition, through memory. Memory is important dealing with the oral tradition, because you got to memorize what motherfuckers telling you. I ain't gonna lie, niggas who had genius memory to me was them 5%ers back in the day. Back when I had the 120 lessons and we used to study the mathematics, the 1 to 10, the 1 to 14, the 1 to 36, the 1 to 40. You know what I'm saying? Actual facts, solar facts, and all that. Supreme alphabet. A, Allah, B, born, C, divine, E, equality, F, father, G, ruler, God, ruler, all that shit right there. It used to be certain niggas that knew the whole shit off the top of their dome, yo. I knew 5%ers that could quote the lessons off the top of their dome, off of memory, word for word. That's what I mean by oral tradition. Once you receive the knowledge orally, you retain it and you can spew it back out. You know, you got some people who say they know the whole, like some in the Muslim world, the Orthodox Muslims, you know, recitation, that's what Quran means. And they say you got people who could recite the whole Quran. You know what I mean? But that's a whole nother chapter right there. But saying that to say that, Israelite is one who receives the truth, who receives orally through the angels. And if you notice when Jacob was wrestling with the angels, although that is highly symbolic, but it's showing you Jacob with an angel, and the angel is telling Jacob, I'm giving you a new name. So it's a conversation. It's an oral conversation going on. It's more like an initiation, although it's real, it's layered, because it's not like saying like the nigga was initiated, but what the fuck you doing wrestling with an angel? The angel hollowed out his star, and then Jacob, before the sun came in, I'm not going to let go of you until you give me your name. You know what I mean? If you read a literal, that shit ain't really making no sense. It's like, all right, nigga, first of all, how the fuck you wrestling with an angel? You know how powerful a goddamn angel is? You know what I mean? That nigga would just fling your ass across the street type shit. Them niggas come with powers. And you know what I mean? How often niggas wrestle with angels? What the fuck an angel wrestling with you for? Like, you know what I mean? What's the layer? What's the deeper meaning to that? Purpose of that saying is that he's communicating with an angel. That's the point. Regardless of anything else that's going on, the nigga wrestling and fighting, he's communicating with an angel. And the root of the oral-like tradition in the Owaspy is angel communion. You're communicating with the angels. You're learning from mouth to ear. You're learning from mouth to ear. So oral tradition. False gods nipping at your nose. You already know, man. Like I said. Yeah, the oral tradition. That you run deep. Could be made up the Leviticus and the Owaspy under Ezra, who inspired Luamon to write certain things. Because remember, Luamon copied records that was already established. You know, like these false gods, they'll always put their twist on it. I think Jacob is made up to the Tai and Levi and the Kohen. It's interesting because if you notice, when you read the story of the Exodus, it don't say shit about no tribes. They talk about the Hebrews. It's only when the Israelites go into the land of Canaan that they're dividing into these 12 tribes known as Judah, Levi. But you don't hear none of these names of the tribes during the story of the Exodus. When the mixed multitude came out with these niggas, that's an interesting thing because we know the mixed multitude with the Leviticus, the hangers-on. So in one instance, the oral tradition could be connected blood ties through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you know, with a bloodline. But then you necessarily don't need a bloodline connection to be an oralite. Once you are initiated into the oralite tradition. They had oralite schools back in those days. Just like in ancient Egypt, they had temples. And they learned in the temples, they learned in the chambers, they learned by the ancestors. The ancestors would appear in the chambers and they would converse with men. Just the Owaspy just said it. Even in the Owaspy said the evil angel can converse learnedly with your ass. Those are evil angels, let alone good ones. Yeah, we touched on the dreams plenty times, yo. Dreams are simulated realities, subjective realities, like in the Matrix. You know, when you look at the Matrix, when Neo, when he actually took the pill and was actually locked into the Matrix, and they put him into the simulation room, that white blank room, That's like the dream state. It's a subjective reality. And then the Owaspy, it talks about how they can create subjective realities, just like the upload and the construct. A dream is like the construct in the matrix. Hold on. All right, so like the dream world, essentially, the brother done tapped into a high. This is dealing with more higher science. So, like you remember in the Matrix, right? When Neo tapped in, and he was in the construct. This is the construct where everything is white. This is like you just in unconsciousness, and then you become conscious once the program is uploaded. You remember in the construct, he uploads programs, the jumping program. You remember when the nigga had to jump and he failed to jump? So these angels, they have power to create subjective realities, meaning they can upload constructs like in the Matrix. Remember in the Matrix when they upload the construct right here? This part? And then Neil was like, nigga, free your mind. And he jumped across the street and the nigga was like, damn, like he just knew, he know that this shit ain't real. But when the construct downloaded, when the program downloaded in the construct, I'm saying, it became real to him. It became so this is a subjective reality where it's not real, but your consciousness makes it real based off the program uploaded in the construct. Remember when the nigga jumped? Nigga bust his ass. So what I'm saying is that dreams are subjective, simulated constructs, and downloads can be uploaded, I should say. And the people are doing these things are the angels. There are angels in the Owaspy so advanced that they have to do with your dreams. We don't even understand dreams yet, while in the Owaspy, it lets you know that these are subjective realities. Let me give you an example of a subjective reality in the Owaspy that coincides with the construct in the Matrix. Let's get the subjective heavens real quick. In a book of Fragapati, you know what? Let me see if I can just pull it up from this rise. The constructed heavens. The happy hunting grounds. Y'all know what it is. The happy hunting grounds. I wonder if they got that in that happy hunting grounds. That would be crazy. But the subjective realities. Subjective heavens. 197.16. Let's get it. If you got the big blue book, 197.16. 197.16. All right, so let me go. What book is this? We're going to Fragapati 21. Fragapati 21.16. So let's go to Fragapati 21.16. So check this, right? Look at the wisdom of the Creator. Look at the wisdom of the Creator, right? This coincides with dreams, subjective realities, and consciousness. And they witnessed, this is the book of Fragapati, chapter 21, verse 10. And they witnessed the heavenly tournaments and games, the boatings, fishing, huntings, and all other entertainments representative of what these angels had been engaged in mortal life. And yet these things were only subjective and not real. The same way when you have a dream and you in the whole world, It's a subjective reality. It's not real. It's like this right here in the matrix. It's the construct. It's the construct. This is the playing ground, and the upload would be the program, the jumping program. This is not real, but it's a subjective learning. But it came to pass that many drudges were restored to their memory of earth life, restored to seeing and hearing, and in fact came to know they had entered another world, all of which illustrated to their dull senses that it was possible for them to learn to see things and to hear things understandingly. So these subjective realities are created for angels who are dull-minded, dull in sense, and have to be memorized, have to be restored by showing them things of an earthly nature to rouse them up consciously in spirit. Nevertheless, within these regions, there were hundreds of millions of angels so stupid as to be void of form and expression. Jehovah said, when a man has fainted, you shall arouse him by calling his memory to things past. And when the drudges in heaven have seen who he is and his place also, you shall show him symbols of things past, thus awaken him. See that? So even it coincided with a dream. Once we enter the dream, we see things that we're familiar with. It's a construct of earthly things in the download. So in the download, this is the when Neo in the building and Morpheus jumped across the building, they in the download now. The download is so real, it's like them. You know, Neil looked over to see if he looking down like nigga, this the download. You was just standing here looking like this. This is the construct. This is the playing ground. And you could upload anything in the playing ground. So it's the same thing in the OWASP account dealing with these subjective heavens. So check this. Jehovah has said, behold, O man, you are the chief glory of my creation. Neither did I create any animal that walks on land, or flies in the air, or swim in the water, or crawl on its belly with desire for spiritual life, nor with capacity to accumulate spirituality or spiritually. But I have given only to you, O man, power to aggregate the spiritual entity. For I bestowed my animals to be like a vessel that is full of water. No more can be put into them. And also when the vessel is destroyed, the water runs back into the ocean. I quickened them into life by my own hand. But when I take away my hand, lo, they go back into dissolution. As a drop of water that has no power before the sun, but evaporates and is seen no more, so is the spirit of all the animals I created before the light of my countenance. But to you, O man, I give power for everlasting life. Still coinciding to this dream thing, just giving you wisdom of Jehovah in the process. Nevertheless, as a man may take a drop of water and put it in a vial and keep it for a long time, so have I given to my exalted angels power to take the spirit of a fish or animal, suddenly dead, and reclothe it for a season, with the semblance of a body. But yet it is only a subjective existence. See that? And even as a man lets a stone fall out of his hand and it drops to the ground, so when my angels release their hold on my spiritual animals, their spirits fall into the sea of my body and are seen no more. Even so, but in less degree, I also create the trees, the grass, the moss, and all vegetable things that grow on the face of the earth. And I give to my exalted angels power to take the spirit out of a tree or a bush or a plant, and to carry it away and reclothe it with corporeal substance. But to my exalted gods I gave power to do the same things, not only with one plant, but with whole forests, and with animals and fishes and serpents. And when they do these things in atmosphere, they are called subjective heavens. So these subjective heavens, which is a cross parallel to semblances of things on earth, is the equivalent of the matrix construct and download. And this is when you dream and you go into these worlds in your mind, you seeing things, you talking to people, you had a revelation of a dream, is dealing with these affairs, these spiritual affairs, as above, so below. So it began in the ancient days when the spirits of darkness returned to mortals, that they told them, heaven was like the earth, with everlasting life for all animals as well as for man. Do not tarry away for such spirits. Do not turn away for such spirits, O man, but learn from them, so that when ye also become a spirit, you do not linger in my bound heavens. See that? For if you set your souls to feed on animals and to dwell with them, the gods cannot deliver you to my emancipated heavens. Till you have served your time in the lower heavens, one great light I have bestowed upon all men, which is that they can progress forever. Through the waters of the ocean rise up and make clouds, and the clouds fall down as rain and run to the rivers, and from there back into the ocean. And this repeats 1,000 times, 10,000s of times, and yet the water has not progressed. Neither have I given progress to a stone nor a tree, nor to an animal, but I give progress to a man only. See that? The Creator's letting us know how much of a jewel we are. Like, nigga, you're going to progress. You ain't going to remain on the earth. The water, the ecosystem you see in nature, that shit going to be here running for thousands of years. But you, old man, you going to rise up above these things. I'm going to show you glorious worlds that's going to surpass the ecosystem of your corporeal world of nature. Huh? Y'all think nature is beautiful. You ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. This is play. This is the lowest, and it's still beautiful. But what the Creator has in store for us to see in these exalted regions, even in the atmospheric regions after death, is glorious. Be wise, O man, and do not tie yourself to things that do not progress, nor set your soul upon them, lest they become a bondage to you in the next world. For the drunks, those who have tied themselves to things that do not progress, I have created heavens midway between the light and darkness, subjective and objective, so that they may be redeemed. See that? See how the Creator talking to your wives? We see the overall master plan of raising up falling spirits, falling angels, by creating subjective realities to raise the dullness of their senses, to make them consciousness of their own individuality, to redeem them. While your God is trying to throw niggas in the lake of fire, because he over here trying to be a goddamn man of war, he got Abraham about to stretch forth his hand to sacrifice goddamn Isaac. Then over here in the Bible, he got the children of Benjamin over here slaughtering the house of Israel, destroying 22 and 2,000 men under the commandment of God, under the counsel of the house of Israel right here in Judges 20:18. So we showing you the potency of Owaspi with a more adult approach and a more grown-up approach with the Creator raising up and redeeming fallen angels and fallen men. While your God over here go have your ass roasting in hell. Abraham was about to roast, because not only Isaac would have been roasting in hell, Abraham would have been roasting in hell for doing that shit. Isaac probably would have been mad as hell in spirit. Like, yo, Pops, you kill me. You kill me because you thought you was worshiping the Creator. And after you killed me, the nigga told you, ha, I lied. I ain't the Creator. I ain't God. I lied. I got you to kill your son. Ha. That's how the angel would have been playing Abraham, yo. Isaac would have been in spirit pissed. Isaac would have been like, nigga, vengeance is mine when you come over here, Pops. I got something for your ass. You know what I got for your ass, Pops? This is what I got for you, Pops.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
That's where you're going to be headed if you don't take these redemptive lessons that we giving you, that all the faith this is giving you, the real true Israelites. We the real Israelites. When I say we the real Israelites, meaning to say that we bringing you and distinguishing who the creator is from these Elohims, these gods, assuming to be the creator. You believe in a God that's a man of war, that's a man of bloodshed, and we showing you the spiritual conditions behind that. So even in your Bible, God say, thou shalt not murder and kill, and then he's consulting killing. That's a contradiction. That's being a hypocrite because you lying. You ain't being a man of your word. And a lot of you know, we come from that era. Word is bond. Your word got to be your bond. Your word ain't your bond, nigga. You broke your own covenant. God broke his own word. He broke his own covenant. First he told niggas not to kill. Now he engaged in the killing. Nah, nigga, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. That's right, Tekiva. We raising them up. We get them upset now. They mad. They gonna be mad now. Just like back in the day when you got your ass whooped with a belt, bop, bop, bop. You did bad, then later on, that shit, you realize your wrongdoing and you go back and start playing video games. Things go back to normal, but you had to get that ass whooping though. We giving you niggas this biblical, spiritual ass whooping, this ass whooping of consciousness, because your biblical God has been exposed to be first a multiplicity of gods. Multiple gods are talking. And we showing that. We showing that. It's going to be chestnuts roasting for these niggas. You feel me?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
It's going to be a lot of chestnuts roasting because it ain't just going to be chestnuts roasting either. It's going to be goddamn chest roasting vaginas too. Because there's a lot of females that follow these false gods in the Bible. A lot of Israelite women follow these biblical false gods under their husbands or under their man or in individuality. So it's going to be plenty of chestnuts, not just chestnuts, chest vaginas roasting in goddamn pine oil heaven. Believe that. You know what I mean? There's going to be plenty of vaginas roasting in pine oil heaven along with the chestnuts. You know what I mean? We giving out free smoke over here. We ain't giving out smoke. We giving out goddamn fire. That's what we giving out.
To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Oh yeah.
To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy. To pine oil heaven.
Nuts and vagina is going to be roasted in pine oil heaven based off your God. Because your God is going to throw you into a lake of fire. Your God is going to catch all you niggas is going into the lake of fire. According to your God, if a nigga, what that nigga Cal P say? What you say, Cal? He says niggas wear fringes because a nigga wear. The nigga Cal P said niggas wear fringes because a nigga dropped some. A nigga got cursed for dropping some sticks on the Sabbath or some shit like that. Niggas wear fringes because a nigga dropped some sticks on the Sabbath and the Lord cursed them niggas and they had to wear fringes from that time forth. Crazy shit. You know what I mean? That shit wild though. That nigga had me rolling when he said that shit. Pine oil heaven says that's right. They think this shit a joke. They think they're going to be the saints over there like this clapping when the nations are burning. No, nigga, you niggas is going to be participating with the nations when they destroy. Because your God ain't the creator, first and foremost, and your God going to set you niggas up for destruction and death. Because your God is a God of war. Your God don't have a plan and an exit plan for war. Your God don't even tell you the spiritual condition of war. Your God just like, kill, kill, kill. Go slay the Canaanites. Man, woman, children, and infants. Kill everything. Infants. You got niggas out here killing infants. What's the spiritual condition of infants? What's the spiritual condition of infants? Especially for the women. Oh, yes, the women. This going to touch your heart, women. I want to see a Israelite women out there slaying men, women, children, and infant. Like the warrior. What's that movie came out recently? Warrior King, Lady King, whatever that shit called. I went to go see those. Ladies out there slaying and murdering niggas. Now let me go see y'all niggas go out there and slay these infants. Because according to your God, if he go out there and command you to do it, you got to do it. If you don't command, like in the gang world, if you don't go out there and kill that nigga, we gonna kill you type of attitude. If you don't go kill that op nigga, we gonna kill you. It's the same conditions for you and your God. If your God raised up today, all them Israelite camps, all the Israelites say, yo, God say, yo, I want you to go kill. And if you don't kill, nigga, I'm going to kill you. What you think they going to do? They going to go kill. They ain't questioning God. They be like, damn, this nigga God just told us if we don't kill, he going to kill us. Nigga, raise up. Nigga, we about to go slaughter some shit. Who you need us to kill, God? I need you to kill these people, I need you to kill the infants and suckling first. Go ahead and cut off the generation. Cut off the next generation. Kill off the suckling and infants first so you can wipe out that generation. Huh? Can you imagine your God telling you to do some shit like that and you nervous, trembling to your bones because you got to do it because God said he going to kill you if you don't? But this is the God you following. But this is the spiritual conditions of those who die in infancy. Book of Judgment, chapter 32, verse 3. Now I declare to you, there are angels, infants, lower than the first resurrection, being incapacitated by various causes from not knowing who they are, whence they came, or whether they are going. Indeed, many of them do not know words of speech, nor signs, nor token, but are destitute of young babies. And the reason being is because your fake-ass false gods and your followers, many of them died in infancy. Some of them were killed by abortion. Some of them were idiots and some of them were deranged. But it said the key point here is that many of them were killed in infancy. Your fake-ass false gods got you thinking in the back of your mind that possibly a voice could come that today's time God will raise your ass up to kill infants. But these are the spiritual conditions of those who died in infancy. And then these look what it stay here. These angels, these infants, never obtain objective knowledge of the corporeal earth. Why? Because they got killed in infancy, but are compelled to learn earthly things subjectively through mortals upon whom they are fettled. So these infants that you're killing become fettles upon the living. They become engrafters upon the living because you killed them in infancy. Because they can't obtain subjective knowledge or objective knowledge without a corporeal anchor, a body. So again, to say these angels never obtain objective knowledge. These infants never obtain objective knowledge of the corporeal earth. Why? Because they was killed in infancy, but are compelled to learn earthly things subjectively through mortals upon whom they are fettled. See that? And what Judge I say? Judgment is rendered against all nations, including the nation of Israel, including the nation of the Canaanites, including the nation of the Hamites, the Amorites, whatever nations y'all want to claim. Judgment is rendered against all you niggas and all you people on the earth for these great darknesses, for this great darkness, these early deaths. What early death? The killing of infants. Samuel, we need a goddamn hand. Look, Abraham stretched forth his hand, took the knife, getting ready to slay Isaac. When Jehovah is letting you know, nigga, judgment is rendered against all evil. So who was inspiring Abraham to stretch forth his hand? The Lord, a fake false God, assuming to be the creator, the man of war. We exposing this shit. Judgment is rendered against all nations. 1 Samuel. Let's get to Samuel. I know niggas be hating when we bring up Samuel, boy. We work that. See that? But slay both man, woman, infant, and suckling. Infant and suckling. This is the Lord telling you to do this, while in the Owaspy is letting you know that judgment is rendered against all nations and all people on the earth for these great darknesses. These what? These what? These early deaths. Judgment is rendered against these early deaths. But who is encouraging these early deaths? The Lord of hosts is telling you to kill infants and suckling, while in the Owaspy is letting you know that judgment is rendered against all nations and all people for this great darkness and these early deaths. See that? Why? Because these infants are thus bound to mortals and cannot go away from them until such time as mortals die. Mortals are responsible and bound to train them by example of righteousness and good works to raise them up. Nigga, we got damn infant spirits feeding on us, and now we got a responsibility to raise them up because your ass over here slaying these goddamn infants untimely demise. Look at that. You killing the infants, and the infants feeding themselves upon you, and it's you who are responsible through your behaviors and actions to raise these spirits up that are feeded upon you. Look what this shit said right here. It said, because these angels are thus bound to mortals and cannot go away from them. Until, hold up, this line right here, that's some spooky ass shit. Because these angels are thus bound to mortals and cannot go away from them until such time as mortals die. So you have infant spirits that's going to grow up in your body as fetal spirit until you die. So if an infant dies when your ass 22, when an infant spirit, engrafts himself on you, however which way, you know what I mean? 40 years, you cross, that spirit gonna be 40 years in spirit when he free up from that corporeal body. And if he haven't learned, he gonna jump his ass on another host and continue to engraft and fetal himself. And this is the whole reincarnation theory comes into play as well. But look at that. Look at this. Wasp ain't no joke. It's showing you the responsibility that comes with being a god of war. Question of God. Now, other than these angels, there are those who are slain in war, whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat of passion, fear, and anger become wild and bound on the battlefield, or perhaps stroll away into deserted houses and castles and are lost, bewildered, and unapproachable. This is the spiritual condition of those slain in war. But didn't we just read that your God is a man of war? Didn't we just read in the Bible that 20 and 2,000 men fell by the hand and the sword of the Benjamites? Right here. And the children of Benjamin came forth out of Gibeah and destroyed down to the ground of the Israelites that day 20 and 2,000 men. So you have 20 and 2,000 men in a spiritual condition such as this. Now, other than these, there are 2,020 men, angels now, that are those who are slain in war, whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat of passion, fear, and anger become wild and bound on the battlefield. But this is the same conditions your God is allowing, because in the Bible, we just read in Judges right here, that goddamn the Lord is consulting this behavior, and asks counsel of God, And the children of Israel arose and went up to the house of God and asked counsel of God. And God said, send Judah up first to do what? To do battle. But what did the Owaspy say these spiritual conditions come with? Now, other than these angels, spirits of the dead, there are those who are slain in war, whose minds are in chaos. Why did not your God let you know that if you get slain in war, your mind will be in chaos? Why he ain't tell you that? Who die in the heat and passion, fear, and anger, become what? Wild and bound on the battlefield. And then it states you become what? Bewildered and unapproachable. These are the spiritual conditions of those slain in warfare, while in your Bible, God is consulting the battle between Israel and Benjamin, including Judah. And in that day, 20 and 2,000 men fell. So that's 20 and 2,000 men with a spiritual condition whose minds are in chaos. Whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat of passion, fear, and anger become wild and bound on the battlefield. That's how many cats is in the spiritual condition in the Bible. The infants and sucklings, these are the spiritual conditions of the infants and sucklings. This is why the Owaspi expose your God, because it's showing you the other side. This part, that part. This the part you wasn't informed about biblically. Now look at this. The children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord. Them niggas getting their ass whipped. They weeping. God, we losing men. We need help. We weeping down here. What the Lord say? Look at that. The children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord until evening, and asked counsel of the Lord, saying, shall I go up again to battle against the children of Benjamin, my brother? And the Lord said, go up against them. The Lord said, go up against them. The same nigga who said, thou shalt not murder and kill, go up against them. Abraham said, show me that you are not God, that I may not err, because I have been commanded not to kill. But here they're saying, the Lord is saying, go up against them. The children of Israel are not questioning the God. They just believing in the God. They just obeying the God, not knowing they're being misled by the God, because they assuming that this Lord God is the creator. While in the Owaspi is letting you know the spiritual conditions of those slain in war is whose minds are already chaos. Now keep in mind, they was weeping. They about to die. They about to go in battle and die. Again, they come weeping because they just lost some men in battle. They lost what? 22,000 men. That's how much men they just lost in battle. And now they're coming back to the Lord weeping. And the children of Israel went up and wept before the Lord. Why are they weeping? Because they lost 22,000 men. And the Lord said, yo, what are we going to do now? The Lord said, yo, go up and battle again. See that? See that? And the children of Israel came near against the children of Benjamin the second day. And what happened? Look what happened. And Benjamin went forth against them out of Gibeah the second day and destroyed down to the ground of the children of Israel again 18,000 men. All these drew the sword. So the Lord told the children of Israel to go against the Benjamites, and the Benjamites destroyed the house of Israel, killing 18,000 men after the house of Israel wept before God. And God told them niggas to go out to battle the second day, and they lost 18,000 men. That's 18,000 men with this spiritual condition right here, whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat of passion, fear, and anger, become wild and bound on a battlefield, bewildered and unapproachable. These are the spiritual conditions of 18,000 men that died by the sword under the conspiracy of God. Look what it says in the next verse. Then all the children of Israel and all the people went up and camped unto the house of God and wept. Why are they weeping? They just lost 18,000 men. And sat there before the Lord and fastened that day unto evening and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings before the Lord. Y'all ain't catch on that this nigga ain't shit? If I would have went to the Lord weeping and doing all this and he ain't come through, nigga, all right, I heard there's other guys out here. Let's go to see if these guys are more powerful, because obviously this nigga ain't helping us. It's time to bounce. Y'all ain't questioning the God. Y'all just believing in the God. See that? And the children of Israel inquired of the Lord, for the ark of the covenant of God was there in those days. Man, that ark of the covenant, that's bullshit. If God doing all this, who cares? So I'm showing you that the Lord God, who you claim is the Most High, is inspiring battles between the children of Israel and the children of Benjamin, and bodies are dropping, and nobody's letting you know that these are creating spiritual conditions such as these. Whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat of passion, fear, and anger, became wild and bound on the battlefield. They're not telling you that. That's why the critics say judgment is rendered against what? That's why Jaja say this right here. Judgment is rendered against all nations and people in the world who engage in war, thus bringing these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. You got 18,000 men who died in the day, thus bringing these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. The afflictions of what? Dealing with chaotic minds, bewildered spirits, unapproachable. That's why we expose the goddamn Bible as false. Judgment is rendered against every nation and all people in the world who carry on war, who are accessory to war, in which any man created alive by Jehovah is slain in defense of any king or other ruler, or in defense of any country or government on the world. See that? We got the drop on you, buddy. We got the drop on you, buddy. We trying to prevent you niggas from going to pine oil heaven. We trying to prevent you niggas.
Chestnuts roasting.
We trying to prevent you niggas from this. And you women.
Headed, boy, to pine oil
There's gonna
heaven.
be some
Chestnuts
vaginas roasting to pine oil heaven
roasting
too.
on an open fire.
Yeah.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you
That's
headed,
where we
boy,
headed.
to pine oil heaven.
If you don't get it right,
Chestnuts
pine oil heaven.
roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
18,000 in pine oil
To
heaven.
pine oil heaven.
18,000 sent to pine oil heaven in a day. Can you imagine?
Chestnuts roasting on an open
18,000.
That's
fire.
where you headed, boy,
Chestnuts.
to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on
Let's
an
spit
open
that.
fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an
That's where they
open
headed,
fire.
Joe. 18,000 soul cast in
To
the pine
pine
oil
oil
heaven.
heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
They better get it right. They better get it right quick, fast. Because pine oil heaven is calling. There's plenty space in pine oil heaven, too. That shit never get old, right? That shit never get old. I swear it don't get old. That's why I be playing that shit. Every time I listen to that shit, I'm like, yo, I can have that shit on repeat, just playing around the house. That shit don't never get old. That's where you headed, boy. Hold on, let's write it one more time. One more time. Wheel up, selector. Wheel up on the blood clot.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open
Run the
fire.
rhythm.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting
That's where you headed,
on
boy.
an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
So, you know, like I'm trying to get people to understand, like, if you don't get your shit together dealing with your spiritual conductivity, your spiritual behavior, following your spiritual deity, you niggas is going to be roasting in pine oil heaven. We trying to forewarn you. Although we being sarcastic, nigga, we being as real as ever, too. We ain't joking around. We joking around because it is a joke. It is a joke, but the joke is on you. If you still following these fake false gods, the joke is on you. Your ass gonna be roasting in pine oil heaven all day and all night. Roasting in.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy, to pine oil heaven.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
That's where you headed, boy.
I'm gonna be right in the background singing some avenues while your ass
Chestnuts roasting on an
You're gonna
open
be out there like trying to tell you niggas.
Boy, to pine oil heaven.
Or when we deliver you out of hell, we're gonna have to come with this
on an
goddamn
open
song and deliver
fire.
you niggas.
That's where you headed, boy.
Y'all remember that song?
Pine
Remember, see, like,
oil
tell us
heaven.
about
Chestnuts
pine oil heaven, and when we
roasting
deliver you
on
niggas,
an
we have to
open fire.
regain consciousness of your dull
To
senses
pine
before we
oil
deliver
heaven.
you out of these subjective hells that you done created for yourselves. You dig? Yes, family. But you know what? Your boy Salah Shalom is up and out. You know it's always a good vibes dealing with the family. Well, if I make some plays, yeah. Yeah, if I make some plays, so we up and out, family. We up and out, family. We gonna ride out, put a one in the chat if you get this understanding. Salute to our Shalom. But before I go, make sure to get your business.
Bitter, but the results are sweet.
how we do.
Bittersweetherbals.com.
Run the rhythm.
Bittersweet Herbals, where the taste is bitter, but the results are sweet. Bittersweetherbals.com.
Yes, family. And your boy still Shalom. We up out of here until next time. You know how we do. It's the vibes.